Polish-Ottoman War. The Second Polish-Ottoman War was a conflict between the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and the Ottoman Empire. As a precursor of the Great Turkish War, it ended in 1676 with the Treaty of Żurawno and the Commonwealth ceding control of most of its Ukraine territories to the empire. Prelude. The causes of the Polish-Ottoman War of 1672–76 can be traced to 1666. Petro Doroshenko, hetman of Zaporizhian host, aiming to gain control of Ukraine but facing defeats from other factions struggling over control of that region, in a final bid to preserve his power in Ukraine, signed a treaty with Sultan Mehmed IV in 1669 that recognized the Cossack hetmanate as a vassal of the Ottoman Empire. In the meantime, Commonwealth forces were trying to put down unrest in Ukraine, but were weakened by decades-long wars. Trying to capitalize on that weakness, Tatars, who commonly raided across the Commonwealth borders in search of loot and plunder, invaded, this time allying themselves with Cossacks under Hetman Doroshenko. They were however stopped by Commonwealth forces under Hetman John Sobieski, who stopped the first push, defeating them several times, and finally gaining an armistice after the Battle of Podache. In 1670, however, Hetman Doroshenko tried once again to take over Ukraine, and in 1671 Khan of Crimea Adil-Juray, supportive of the Commonwealth, was replaced with a new one, Selim I-Juray, by the Ottoman Sultan. Selim entered into an alliance with the Doroshenko's Cossacks, but again like in 1666–67 the Cossack Tatar forces were dealt defeats by Sobieski. Selim then renewed his oath of allegiance to the Ottoman Sultan and pleaded for assistance, to which the Sultan agreed. Thus an irregular border conflict escalated into a regular war in 1671, as the Ottoman Empire was now prepared to send its regular units onto the battlefield in a bid to try to gain control of that region for itself. The first phase, Ottoman forces, numbering 80,000 men and led by Grand Vizier Koprulu Faisal Ahmed and Ottoman Sultan Mehmed IV, invaded Polish Ukraine in August, took the Commonwealth fortress at Kamieniec Podolski and besieged Lwow. Sobieski's forces were too small to meet the Ottoman army head-on, and could only score several minor tactical victories over the Ottoman detached units. Unprepared for war, and torn by internal conflict between the King Michael I and the Shalukta nobility, the Commonwealth Sejm could not act to raise taxes and gather a larger army. Its representatives were forced to sign the Peace of Buchach in October that year, which ceded to the Ottomans Commonwealth part of Ukraine and promised an annual tribute of 22,000 ducats. The second phase. Instead of ratifying the peace treaty, the Commonwealth Sejm, with most of the deputies finally united by anger due to the territorial losses and the demeaning tribute, finally raised taxes for a new army and increased the Cossack register to 40,000. Hetman John Sobieski led a military campaign against the Ottomans and dealt several defeats to the Ottomans, of which the Battle of Korten was the largest. Next he took control of the Moldavia territory and most of disputed Ukrainian lands. That year King Michael I of Poland died, and in recognition of his victories and dedication, John Sobieski was elected King of the Commonwealth in 1674. Over the next year, however, the Polish forces were subject to attrition. The Sejm again refused to raise taxes and pay the army, resulting in mass desertions of unpaid soldiery. The Polish problems were further aggravated by the incompetent leadership of Hetman Michał Kazimierz Pak, who obstructed Sobieski's leadership, while the Ottomans continued to receive reinforcements. Nonetheless, in 1675, 1674 the Commonwealth resumed the offensive, taking advantage of a new Muscovy-Ottoman conflict that year, and the Polish-Ottoman War remained undecided. Sobieski's force of 6,000 defeated 20,000 Turks and Tatars under Ibrahim Shishman in the Battle of Lwow in August 1675. Even after the Battle of Trembola, the Sejm still refused his pleas for more funds and a larger army. In 1676, after Sobieski's 16,000 withstand the 2-week siege of Żurawno by 100,000 men under Ibrahim Pasha, a new peace treaty was signed, the Treaty of Żurawno. The peace treaty partially reversing those from Bushach. The Ottomans kept approximately 2/3 of the territories they gained in 1672, and the Commonwealth no longer was obliged to pay any kind of tribute to the empire. A large number of Polish prisoners were released by the Ottomans. Aftermath. The Sejm rejected the treaty through the actions of Austrian diplomats and Pope Innocent XI. Sobieski also was forced to reduce his army from 30,000 to 12,000 men. The war showed the increasing weakness and disorder of the Commonwealth, who by the second half of the 17th century had started its gradual decline that would culminate a century later with the partitions of Poland. The unruly Sejm, paralyzed by liberum veto and foreign bribery, was dominated by politicians who thought in short-term gains only and constantly refused the funds to raise an army, as it appeared that most of the Commonwealth would not be ravaged by the Ottoman armies. Even after the unfavorable Bushach Treaty, which convinced the Sejm to raise the taxes once initial successes were achieved, the majority of the Sejm again couldn't be convinced to keep up the pressure on the enemy. Soldiers were left unpaid and desertions on a mass scale negatively affected the Polish cause. This apparent inability to defend itself also seen in the other recent and future conflicts the Commonwealth was involved in, increasingly invited foreign forces to prey on the Commonwealth. On the Polish side, the fighting was done mostly by a force privately financed by John Sobieski. He gained reputation as an able, courageous commander and a patriot, having invested part of his personal fortune in the defense of the Commonwealth. In 1674 he was elected King of Poland and ruled now as John III. Sobieski's reputation also preceded him in the Ottoman Empire, and his victory several years later at the Battle of Vienna would ensure his reputation as the top commander fighting the Ottomans. However, he would not be able to stop the Commonwealth from decline and introduce reforms that would save the country. Commonwealth did regain the territories lost in this war after the Polish-Ottoman War in 1699 Treaty of but that was one of the last of its victories. Battles: Battle of Ladishina, Battle of Humani, Siege of Kamieniec Podolski, Battle of Cork, Battle of Krasnobrod, Battle of Narol, Battle of Niemiro, Battle of Kamano, Battle of Petranka, Battle of Kalis, Battle of Kortin, Battle of Legionis near Lwow, Battle of Trembola, Battle of Łowna-Lwow, Battle of Żurawno. Bibliography. Davies, Brian L. Warfare, State and Society on the Black Sea Steppe 1500 to 1700. London, Routledge, ISBN 9780415,239,851. Polish-Ottoman War, 1672 to 1676. Polish warfare, the Turkish and Tatar Wars 1667 to 1676, Parts 7 and 8. Łowny Polsko-Turecki, Encyclopedia WIEM. Vioral Pana-It on Ottoman-Polish Diplomatic Relations, Asian Studies, International Journal for Asian Studies, Stanford J. Shaw, Ezel Kirill Shaw, History of the Ottoman Empire in Modern Turkey, Cambridge University Press, 1977, ISBN 0-521-291631, Google Print, p.